Welcome to a special Jace Media video interview. I am Justin Smullison, Jace contributor from across the pond, and I am so thrilled to host my first video interview for Jace with the drummer of my favorite metal band, Gonzo Sandoval of Armored Saint. Armored Saint has so much happening around their 40th anniversary. In 2020, they released their 8th crushing album, Punching the Sky. In 2021, they released Symbol of Salvation live, and I was at the show where they recorded it. And in 2022, they re-released and remastered their first 3 albums for vinyl. March of the Saint, Delirious Nomad, and Raising Fear are now available on vinyl and for Digipack CDs, so check them out. Gonzo is here to talk with me about all of these albums and releases, which are available from Metal Blade Records. And we will also talk about how Armored Saint is supporting Wasp in an upcoming tour in the fall of 2022 in the US. And we're going to talk about an album he's co-producing for his brother and bandmate Phil Sandoval. So I had met Gonzo a couple of times on a metal cruise in 2019. I'm going to try really hard to keep my composure. Jace Media audiences worldwide, please welcome the man who provides Armored Saint's Drums of Thunder, Gonzo Sandoval.
Right.
All right. I'm joined by one of my favorite drummers, Gonzo Sandoval. Gonzo, it's so great to see you again. We've met before, but I'm really glad to be speaking with you again.
Great, Justin. It's great to see you and meet you once again over this Zoom world.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm wearing the Symbol of Salvation tour shirt from the 2018 show. I was there for that show that you recorded
in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm from New York. So I was we're going to talk about that live album, of course, because I think that's super cool. Yeah. And we're also going to talk about I'm going to geek fan out.
Anything you want, man. Justin, right. I'm here for you.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
We've been not doing rock and roll for a long time, but we've been trying to keep busy. So doing these things, it's pretty fun.
Well, that brings us to one of the catalysts for this conversation was you're re-releasing March of the Saint, Delirious Nomad, and Raising Fear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was the inability to tour one of the drivers for re-releasing these classic metal albums?
I think it was a couple of things. Number one and foremost is that they were no longer available. Chrysalis stopped, producing them and making them available. So nobody could get the March of the Saint, the Delirious, or the Raising Fear, which was pretty sad. Yeah. So that was an issue. And then our 40th anniversary is this year, Armored Saint, as far as time goes. Mm-hmm. So the opportunity came to actually Joey Vera was very instrumental in helping set up the ability for Metal Blade to produce these 3 records, manufacture them, and be able to sell them. There was a deal cut with Chrysalis, which we all agreed to, and it was beneficial, I think, for everybody, making it a super special release. And it includes all 3 of the Chrysalis records, which is the beginning of our career.
Sure.
And each record, although it happened in the 80s and stuff, it really sort of depicted a certain level or stage of where Armored Saint, the band, was developing and growing and just going through life, basically. But each record's very special in its own right.
Yeah. And you all were, from what I can tell, really young when these albums came out, right?
Yeah. Really early on, my brother, Phil Sandoval, guitars, you know, he was older a little bit, so he got to drive. He got his driving permit and stuff. And we were just a bit younger. John, Joey, and I used to hang out a lot as, in elementary and then through junior high and high school and then into the University of Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
But so Phil would be able to drive. He'd borrow my mom's car. Sometimes we would ask, sometimes we wouldn't. And he would drive us to the Starwood actually in Hollywood. And we caught the last bit before it all shut down. But we felt so great being kind of really young. I think we're like 13, 14 years old, and my brother was 16. And then
you were that young?
Yeah, when we started going to Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We were adventurous.
Yeah, your parents were much more liberal than mine. Mine wouldn't let me go, outside of a 5-block radius.
Well, that's the whole thing is, they didn't really know at first because we would push the car out the driveway and then pop start it down the street so nobody would hear. And then here we go on our early, very young kid adventures, heading off to Hollywood and, getting into that Starwood and being very, very like just awestruck by the rock and being able to see early bands like Yesterday and Today was Dave Meniketti and all the guys together with Leonard Hayes on drums and Joey on the guitar and all the original band members. It was Yesterday and Today before they went to Y&T. We caught Snow. We saw Randy Rhoads with Quiet Riot and Kevin DuBrow before he joined Ozzy. We were actually at that show. Now I'm going off, but we were at that show that Randy Rhoads, they did a weekend and they flattened everything, put white over the stage, all the curtains, all the walls, everything was white. And Quiet Riot played all 3 nights. And it was Randy Rhoads' goodbye because he was joining Ozzy.
Sure.
And it was amazing being that young and being able to witness all of that. And then the things that transpired after that, with life and stuff. And
yeah. But are you a vinyl guy?
I was a lot, and then I went first cassettes, now I'm going to date myself, but cassettes and then CDs and vinyl throughout. But once it went CD, I kind of left the vinyl. So yeah, but now it's back. And so I'm very happy about that because, that's what we used to go try to buy when we were starting off, is just go get the big record and look at the art and read the liner notes and all that. That's all special to me.
Sure. Now I wonder, do you have a special ear for how it sounds on vinyl as opposed to digital or CD?
Mm-hmm. That's a really interesting question because, I do also engineer and I'm producing Phil's record right now.
Oh.
Yeah, we could talk
about that later. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, that sounds cool.
And so yes, I do have an ear, and I've actually had this conversation with Dave Jordan, who's he did Alice in Chains and Anthrax, Armored Saint, one of the best producers I've ever met, and became a friend actually. And so we had that conversation between analog and digital.
Yeah.
And when Pro Tools just came out and everybody started swaying that way, what's better, and so once you recognize that what it is, you need a combination of both to make it really happen, I think in today's recording world. Yeah, so there's ways to use digital and definitely always analog because it definitely warms up the lower end and just makes it sound like a record, Yeah.
And when you heard how it sounded on vinyl for Metal Blade, did you get like a renewed love for the songs?
Well, yeah, I mean, the songs, yeah. March of the Saint was very, very unique in itself because we were like inseparable at the time. We had our own rehearsal studio in Vernon, California. Um, we would meet there 7 nights a week or 7 days, even on Sundays, afternoons. We were just all about, getting that record. All before that, working up to that record was songwriting, trying out parts in the studio, live band, and that's how all those great songs got developed. Phil would bring in a riff like "Can You Deliver?" We were just talking about that, and then show it to the band, and then the band contributes and develops into the song, and which is still one of the most popular Armored Saint songs, I think, to date. And so we get into the songwriting. We'd get into going to Hollywood, checking out bands. We'd just be all together, and and listening to Judas Priest and UFO, Michael Schenker in John Bush's car, which was a great hang of ours. We just go in his car and listen to music. Even park it somewhere and maybe catch a buzz. I don't know, but anyway. It was fun times as a youth and developing into what was March of the Saint, and which included a lot of groups songwriting.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we were at the Symbol of Salvation show, you closed on Madhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our usual Madhouse now, we can pull Madhouse out of the hat,
Yeah.
And which is
good. In the tank.
Well, we do, but we haven't played in a bit because of this pandemic and COVID and stuff. But we can pull it out of the hat, and it's usually the last one. It's like after you're fully exhausted. You just did like one time where it was in Italy. The walls were sweating, and we had played 22 songs, I think it turned out to be, and then they want more, and I remember going, more, man. It's like I'm exhausted, I'm dripping wet. All right, let's go get more. And so then we went out and we did Madhouse, and it turned out to be a madhouse, and it was well worth it. And we played 23 songs at that show, and it's exhausting. A couple hours of Armored Saint. Woo!
and you got to be moving that entire time. You might have the toughest job of all. I would think.
Well,
possibly.
I mean, between John Bush is also has a tough job because his instrument is his body and lungs and vocal cords and all. Yeah. So that's exhausting as well. Yeah, and I'm constantly moving. So I start prepping for things that we're going to do months and months and months ahead of time, just to get my bones and hands and ready for it.
Yeah, or as you all like to call it, muscle memory. Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah, muscle memory. Yeah.
I'm going to be doing that a lot because this is like all I think about. So I got to use it on somebody. I got to use it on you.
Yeah. Anything you want, Armored Saint related, I'm here for you. I'll give you, my personal view. I can't speak for the whole band. I can speak for Gonzo, Drums of Thunder.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, you know what? Speaking of which, hold on. I even have, because as we were checking out, we're jumping a little bit, but as we were checking out of the boat, we were next to each other on the line out. My wife was like, just be cool, for the love of God, don't freak out. But you were really nice. You gave me a sticker for Drums of Thunder. I have it on my other computer right there.
That's pretty awesome. I'm really happy to see that, because I do hand those out occasionally, and it's good to see them on places.
I follow your activity, man, and you're really great. We're also on a little bit of a tangent, but in the Facebook International Armored Saint fans group, you're there every once in a while. You like some stuff. That was me a few weeks ago giving blood wearing this shirt. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Give blood.
Yeah, I was doing the Book of Blood.
Oh, wow.
So I posted on there because I was wearing the shirt.
Some blood on it?
Yeah. No, I didn't spill any blood on it. I'm cool. I'm clean. I watched this thing, believe it or not. So.
No, but I mean on the Book of Blood, did you put some blood in your book?
Oh, I think I did.
Yeah. All right.
So we've got and then of course, you signed I love Delirious Nomad. I absolutely love it. I feel like it was a standout for me. Just if if I because I kind of found you a little bit. I found you after John joined Anthrax in the '90s. So then I went back and started finding stuff. Of the Chrysalis albums, this one was my favorite. And do you have a favorite song off of Delirious Nomad?
Delirious Nomad, that's there's a couple things going on with that. Number one is I love the drum sound. Bill Friesch and Max Norman definitely dialed that in, along with the mix and stuff. So that's kind of how I hear my drums, and that's how it is. But that was a very, very unique experience. I think Over the Edge is on there, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That one was written, at my mom's house. Phil came up with the riff, and we developed that here. And then it turned out to be a very bluesy, original Armored Saint song, I would say. And that's one of my favorites for sure. You're looking at the record, and I got to use my memory.
Sorry,
no problem.
You got you got it opens with one of my favorites, which is Long Before I Die, which I just think is such a great mission statement.
Yeah, that is a life statement,
Totally.
And one second.
They sort of remastered it for CD. Metal Blade did it through the Metal Blade Classics, so you were able to improve the quality back, I guess, in 1995. But it's we're going back X amount of years, 25 years now.
Delirious actually came out in '85,
right?
And Over the Edge. You're Never Alone, and Aftermath. Yeah, those are my favorite.
Yeah,
You're Never Alone. That was one of the original songs that David Pritchard, rest in peace, My brother came up with the riff there too, and we wrote that song. It was one of the first songs that Armored Saint ever wrote, um, guitar and drums,
Yeah.
and John added the stuff. I think it was um, probably one of the oldest songs that we've played from back then. Another
Yeah.
original was Stricken by Fate, was also done in that time period,
Hmm.
and No Reason to Live, which is our one of is our first ballad.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Now, Raising Fear
Hmm.
kind of got a little bit of a resurgence. First of all, it was very, very difficult to find on a physical album
Uh-huh.
lately, up until now again, because
Yeah.
I remember looking for it on CD and it was going for like 50, $60
Yes, yes, that's
because
what I'm talking about. Chrysalis
they
stopped
stopped.
producing it. So
Yeah.
I'm personally very thankful for Metal Blade to get being able to put this out in the re-release. It's such a special thing for Armored Saint. It's going to happen in our 40th anniversary celebration,
Yeah.
in which, I know you're going to say we'll talk about this later, but we will be touring this fall with Wasp.
Yes. Yes. And
So
yeah, you're going to be coming a little bit close to me at a place called, I think, the Paramount out in Huntington.
mhm,
So, but
mhm.
I'd be going for Armored Saint. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that we're just thankful that Armored Saint will be able to be back on the
yeah,
stages and touring and keeping safe, but you know,
yeah,
a lot of built-in heavy metal that we need to release onto the heavy
yeah.
metal audience.
And it's worth mentioning when we talk about Raising Fear that one of the songs that really caught a resurgence was Isolation.
Right, right, right,
And
right.
you did from what I remember, through video conference or Zoom, you
Mhm.
re-recorded the song acoustic in 2020.
Yeah.
And what was that experience like for you?
So during that period, that's when the pandemic COVID was hitting hard, man.
Yeah,
Nobody knew what. I still don't think people know what, but that's just my personal opinion. But uh, they just didn't know what was happening, and so we didn't know how long we'd be locked up. It began to be, like, shoot, what can we do? And so we did release Punching the Sky in October
November.
23rd, 2020. But before that, um, we were like, let's just record stuff from home.
Yeah,
People doing songs like that. And Isolation, such a great song. We were isolated and it
yeah,
just made sense. So um, we just, everyone recorded their own stuff by themselves and sent it over, and Joey got it together and put it out as
nice.
a
Yeah,
pandemic re-release of Isolation. and
yeah,
and you know and I got creative, as as you can see. I was wearing blue gloves and just kind of trying to go with the time period of what was going on.
yeah.
You Now we got a bit more of a handle on it, but still, everyone's got to stay safe.
Right. But that brings up an interesting. Well, let's stick with that for just one moment. That year, oh, what a drag for a lot of reasons. But if you're an Armored Saint fan and you're waiting for the follow up to Win Hands Down, which is probably my favorite Armored Saint album, maybe my favorite of the latter day albums, and this finally comes out, and you're
Yes.
like, oh, okay, you did the streaming show, which was really cool,
All right.
the live stream show, but Punching the Sky it's an incredible album. Every time you guys come out with a new album, and I'm not just saying this as a fanboy, even though I am, you seem to figure out these new little areas that you can explore into and sort of raise the bar just a little bit more from the last one that you did. What's the secret sauce to that, Gonzo?
Secret sauce. Well, I'm glad that you noticed, um, you know, um, the secret sauce.
Oh yeah,
But I just think that things, the way the records come together, just different stages of our growth, of our you know, um, contributions, basically.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that the Armored Saint sound, since Win Hands Down, we finally got it. We got the sound, we got the performances. This is my personal feeling,
Mm-hmm.
um, on Win Hands Down, and then Punching the Sky. That was such a different record. There's so much, if I can be candid, there was a lot of distraction right before I had to start my drums.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I took a completely different approach this time around, which worked out, and this record sounds amazing. But I'm just saying that some of the delays and things going on, internal band situations, were a bit distracting. But
Sure.
I put it together. I recorded it in December, and right before this whole thing hit.
Oh, you did it in December of 2019.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I did it in 6 days.
Oh,
So I did all of that work. I did prep for it, but I said to myself, and I did share this with Joey Vera, the producer, and our bass player and bandmate and friend.
I was just gonna say, I would think
Yeah.
that after 40 years, he's got to be your buddy at this point, right?
Everything. Yeah, yeah. But I did say to him, um, the way this record is, I am going to sort of take a more of a punching in approach, and so I thought about like Neil Peart. I found out he did a lot of punch ins, and Lino Lars, also Ulrich of Metallica, did. So I usually would have loved to have just nailed the whole song all the way through and stuff like that. But with technology this time for Punching the Sky, I said no. I think I want to use the technology, get pieces, punch it in, cut and paste it, make it happen.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. We got great drum sounds, and the performances were there, and I think the team did a phenomenal job in bringing what I had recorded in 6 days, which is quite a thing. I always want 2 weeks, man, but somehow or other, it turns out, man, you got 1 week. I'm like, man, all right. So anyway, I bear down, I get into it, and I do it, and I love the way certain songs sound. I do think Punching the Sky, it is adventurous in a way, but it's still solid. Some of the things that we did were very fun. The drum intro for Do Wrong to No One.
Yeah.
That was, I think that's really cool.
It's like you're playing it on a little drum for a second, like a
It's an actually marching snare drum.
Yeah.
And we did bring in our buddy John Ayala. He's also a drummer too.
Mm-hmm.
His son Jake is also a drummer.
Right.
And so we thought it would be nice to have him. He's a young cat, so have him come on and play along with me.
Yeah.
That intro. So kudos to him and John.
But I mean, that's one of those songs that yeah, and then it goes in this. It's got a little bit of this Pantera riffing vibe thing going on that I think suits you all really, really well.
You froze up.
Oh, I froze up. I'm sorry. Am I there? We give it a second. It'll catch up with itself. We can always pause that part.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
You're back.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's a great song because that's one of the heavier ones on the album. And but only trust a few. I love that song. That's a great one. And then you kind of balance it out with Lone Wolf there, which is a little bit of like a slower, bluesier tune.
Right. Lone Wolf. That's a
Great song.
Yeah, great song, groovy. And it's a fun drum part to play. And there's a lot of great drumming going on in this record. And another one, End of the Attention Span.
Oh yeah, well sure. That was the lead single, right?
Yeah, that was the first one, and powerful, great songwriting contribution by my brother Phil.
Yeah.
And you know, the record, it was, like I said, my drums were recorded December 19th, I mean 2019, and they were ready for, to do the guitars and all the overdubs, and then the pandemic hit.
Right.
So I think the big question was like, do we follow through and release it during a pandemic situation? Because limit no touring, and no ability to get out there and pump the record, because it's such an amazing record. So if you don't have Punching the Sky, get it on Metal Blade Records.
That's
It's
right.
awesome. And
I,
and it's got the sound, it's got the drive, it's got the songs. John sounds amazing. The performances by the guitar players are awesome. Joey sounds awesome with his bass, and he did a good job producing it. And Josh Newell recorded the drums awesomely, and the whole production team over there at El Dorado was amazing. So it's a great thing that came out. The question is, or well, it's not a question anymore. It came out, and it is what it is, but we still haven't toured on it. So we're anxious to do it. We're anxious to do that. I'm anxious to do that, and play some of these songs, and really, give them life in live scenario. So I think that's going to add to some really explosive performances, and fun, which is what it's all about.
I feel like your drum work, starting with Symbol of Salvation, moving forward, has it gotten more intricate or complex over the years? Is that something you consciously did?
I see. So the drumming basically, matches the song.
Yeah. Because the songs are getting more complex.
Exactly. So if a Phil Rudd power beat can drive the song, but there's so many more things that can happen in a creative element, and so always trying to push the envelope, try to search for that thing, that special something, in the drumming. As far as me personally, I am into different rhythms, Brazilian rhythms, Latin rhythms, and so I do try to incorporate a little twist here and there, and in feel wise, and different things that for number one will make me happy as a drummer, and number two is definitely drive the song. Actually, number one, drive the song. Number two, make me happy, or they're both number one. I don't know. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's just trying to look for what fits, and drive that, and a lot of the stuff that is pre-written, it goes a certain way, so I have to learn it a certain way, the way it's written, and then there's room for creative interpretation.
Excellent. Let me ask you, when you have, and John is my absolute favorite metal singer. There's, for me, everybody's got their own. He is my number one of all time. Awesome. So when you are working with a singer who is that consistent and that talented, and who seems like such a nice and like humble guy, because I've interviewed him once, it was amazing. How does it influence you as a musician, or are you able to even remove yourself as a musician and just be his friend? Is it all intermixed? How does it make you feel when he sings the song?
Wow, that was
a big question.
Big question. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll try to get this together here. John Bush is an amazing singer. He's lasted all these years, and has gotten better.
Yeah.
And so that's quite phenomenal. So I definitely wish him a lot of health and staying strong, because we've got a lot of touring to do.
Yeah.
So working with John, in which regards, like drum vocal, or
like when you hear the final version of a song, and for example, I'll give you a great example. When you hear Chilled and you go,
I hear that and I go, oh my goodness, there's something really special going on here. The whole band sounds great, but he's really putting himself out there with his vocals and with his words. And does it move you in the same way all these years later?
So there are certain songs that do move me and will forever move me.
Yeah.
Chilled, I think, is a chill song. I think there's other songs that move me a lot more than that one, but chill is super cool, super groovy. The vocals, it's just a nice color, and it's a great interpretation of great performance,
Yeah.
and so what can I say? We haven't played together in a long time. I do miss playing live and
Yeah.
with guys, and so looking forward to that. Now, let's see what else.
Yeah. Well, what's another? I've always wondered this. So, got 11 songs on Punching the Sky. Are there any that didn't make the cut that might surface one day? Or was it all used?
For that one, I think there was a couple written after we said we got the record in the can, and they may surface, but I don't remember too much of it. Yeah. So I think we used everything that was usable on this.
After the sixth day, you were just like, that's it, I'm done.
Well, yeah, no, the sixth day of actual recording, there was like months and months of actually hours of put in, so that those 6 days could flow as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
It was tough. I have to say, Punching the Sky was tough. I did take a different approach. So, I ran into things that I hadn't anticipated, but like I said, at the end result, I listened to that record and I'm super proud. I listened to those drums on Bubble, and they boom, they nail. And so I'm happy. Now, as far as touring for Punching the Sky, we did do the live stream and it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was odd because no audience. So again, doing things we've never done, trying things. But we joked about, hey, this is going to turn out to be the 1 gig tour.
and
we laughed. And it turned out to be the 1 gig tour because we haven't toured since then. So I'm just fired up. I'm playing every day and keeping my hands loose and my spirit high. And life is just unpredictable, and my sister has recently passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
COVID related. Yep.
Oh,
I'm sorry. So January 17th, and so we've been recovering from that, and it's just shocking. It's a shock. It's a loss. I don't know. That one's going to take many. I don't know. I just don't know what you did to say on that. It's just shocking. But
right. Was her name Rosa?
No, it's Carmen Sandoval.
Carmen
Lou. I call her Carmen Lou, and may she rest in peace. I love you, Carmen. We all love you, and we're in shock. I just don't believe this should have happened, and it did. So now what?
I recognize the name from the Facebook group. Okay, I didn't. It's
know. Amazing. It's amazing Armored Saint supporter. She was mainly at all our shows, and just very, very fun and loving sister, and very, very tight with our family. And we just, hard getting over that. But anyway, we want to move forward because she loved life like we do.
Yeah. Well, speaking of family, then you mentioned earlier that you're working, I guess maybe as a player or behind the scenes on, I guess Phil has an album coming out.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
With all this time on our hands, we're creative individuals. We can't just be sitting around doing nothing. Anyway, but Phil had wanted to do this record, and I said I would play drums on it and produce it for him. So we've been working on these songs and getting adventurous, and finally, seeing the end of the tunnel and reaching a couple of finals, and so we're happy about it. There's going to be a much more, but that's what, is taking some of our time. And we keep playing for the love of music. We
Yeah.
plan on playing some shows, to promote his record and stuff. So lots of fun things going on the side.
Is it a rock album or a metal album or an instrumental album?
Oh, it's gonna have songs. There's songs and vocals and a few instrumentals. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun record with lots of spirit and definitely driving music.
Are you gonna sing on it at all?
I don't think so. Not
Okay.
I'm gonna just do the drums in this, but no, backgrounds, yes.
Backgrounds. Okay, cool. You know who I spoke to a few months back? Buddy of yours. I was wondering if you've ever had a drum off with him. Sean Duncan.
Sean, that's Jeff's brother.
Yeah. I interviewed him because DC4 and Social Disorder. He's got plenty of stuff going on. He's in a bunch of cover bands, but we connected on Twitter. He's a super cool guy. We were talking about you for a little bit. Who plays louder?
Wow. Okay. So I've never had a drum battle. I don't think I have done many or any drum battles.
Really?
Yeah, I just play, but it would be interesting. I think I'd have a lot of fun. Who plays louder? I don't know, but I've been told that they've never. Whoever tells me this says I've never seen anybody hit the drum as hard as you do.
Okay.
And so let's see. I also got a compliment from Steel Panther drummer.
Oh, okay.
And he also noticed that he appreciated how hard I hit the drums because they really did sound explosive.
Yeah.
So I think my method is working as far as it's projecting what my intention is, and that's to be drums of thunder, man.
Yeah, man. Excellent.
Come on.
I know.
How does the thunder sound? Do they sound like? No, they sound like thunder.
And I've seen clips of you at drum clinics where you're beating away at the skins there. Do you like doing those? Is that fun?
Drum clinics. Yeah, I think I would have my actual drum clinic. I've never done, but I that's an interesting thing that I would love to do.
Or was it a drum show?
It probably NAMM shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
I'll get on the drums and have fun. It's just, drums are so amazing in that there's a lot to it. There's time, there's heart rate, there's physicality, there's counting, there's feel, there's beat, there's pulse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels of where you can take the drums and see what you can do with them and what you want to do with them and what you learn to do with them. I just I forgot the question.
I was just like, well, at those NAMM shows, you look like you're having a blast.
Oh yeah. So I like to jump in and just try the different little things that are going on. There's all those instruments and being around people who love music and people who play music. It's the NAMM show is like a toy store for musicians. Not only can you play the instruments, you can get together with other musicians and play grooves. You can do jams, impromptu songs. You can, get part of the shows, walk around, eat food, drink, whatever. And then sometimes it's just fun to jump on the kid and try little sonics.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to let you go in a minute, but so you got the tour coming up in, I think, the fall with Wasp, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then after that, or maybe around sometime nearby, then you got the album with Phil, which is
that's ongoing. That's ongoing, and as soon as things are ready to be released, and there'll be a lot of promo for it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have a label for that yet, or is it not?
Not at the moment. No.
Okay.
Not at the moment.
Okay. Cool. And then, do you think that I mean, I know it's still very early, and Armored Saint does things when it feels right.
There
But
is some interest. There's some interest. So we are looking and speaking to people, but nothing locked in as far
right.
as.
Okay. But then down the line, do you think there might be another Armored Saint album of originals?
Wow, we have to catch up with all that we've not
Yeah.
been doing. So yeah, that's way far ahead. I would say the band's strong,
Mhm.
and healthy. Then go.
Yeah.
That's I say go till you can't go no more.
Right. All right.
That's just how I feel.
And last thing, you also you do some photography, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, at first it was just kind of like, something I like to do. And
Mhm.
then I began to realize that I might have this thing called photophilia.
Mm,
It's a funny thing that where you kind of feel like something's wrong and you don't know what it is. And then you realize, oh wait, I have to take a picture. It's so weird. And then
yeah.
so you get into, taking a picture, and then you want to make it artistic. You want, composition. You get into the photography, your settings, and the light, natural light, whatever. You want your image to be amazing. And so all that stuff I love. And I got a better camera. I said, I'm going to step into SLR. Once I did that, then I want to learn. One of as I shifted over from Canon to Nikon, because of my teacher, Igor, he's at Rock Exposure. He's an amazing photography teacher. He changed my world as far as, my goals and how to get there.
Yeah.
And I've grown, so photophilia is not so bad anymore. So I do shoot a lot of stuff. I have been getting into videography, making videos with my bro. He's into RC. He has the X Max and loves to take jumps. So I love with my GoPro. I like to capture great light and just watch those cars fly. And so we're putting together nice little videos, and I'm learning Premiere Pro. And so it is just all creative elements of audio and video and photography, and then producing and engineering and music creativity, and then blending them all to create some sort of synergy that makes some sort of sense, that may relay some sort of good-hearted message or whatever you want to say. But I think the world needs good-hearted messages right now. So anyway, that's what
all right. Excellent.
yeah.
Well,
One thing we didn't talk about Symbol of Salvation and getting that record live.
Can we talk for 5 minutes about it?
Yeah, let's do
You got
it.
5 minutes? All right.
Sure.
I remember I bought the tickets for that show months in advance. I was working in the city at the time. I saw it was going to be at the Gramercy. I bought it like the day that it came out. I do believe you sold out. You might have sold out in the theater. I don't remember, but I was right there in the front. I actually made the cut of the photo that you use when you're all standing there behind doing the thing. I'm in a red t-shirt. That's how I know where I am. But the point is, you did the first song off of each of the first three albums. And then there was like this cool little tape that played, and then you launched right into all of Symbol of Salvation from start to finish in the exact order. It sounded immaculate. and then there was an encore, but the album release was of Symbol of Salvation, those tracks. How did it feel to play? Do you remember that show specifically and what it felt like to play those songs there in New York?
Yeah, that was a tough little run there because we were attempting to do a lot of firsts. I think we all went into all in ear. So it means everyone wearing in ear and getting the mix through the ear rather than speakers behind you. And then I think this was Gramercy was early on in the tour. I think gig 3 or something. And so ideally it would have been nice to do all these gigs and get it and then record the last couple 'cause we know we'd be on, more on than whatever. Which reminds me, the Los Angeles performance of Symbol of Salvation was mind-blowing as well. So just a mental note on that. New York kicked ass. We got that record, but LA kicked ass too. So anyway, so that was a challenging thing going on the performance. So having to deal with that and putting on a good performance was super challenging. So I'm very happy the way it turned out, and look forward to possibly doing that again. And I think it's a timeless record.
Absolutely.
I think if anybody wants to hear Symbol of Salvation, you can get its original form, and now you can get the record live in its entirety. I know that I would be excited as a fan, to be out there and hear one of my favorite records from its entirety. So we did that on Symbol of Salvation in honor of, rest in peace, David Pritchard. And it rocked, and you can get it on Metal Blade Records. So you can get a live Symbol of Salvation record and DVD, CD, and DVD,
which was all in black and white, right?
Right. And Punching the Sky, Metal Blade Records, and then come see us live on tour. There's already 5 sold out shows. We're gonna love playing for you guys, and looking forward to it. Also Phil's records being made. And and you can go to gonzosandoval.com, check out some of my photography if you like, and I'm always available for bookings. We can work it out, the details. And that's about it. I'm staying busy, staying creative, and playing lots of drums, and looking forward to hitting the stages and rocking you.
Special thanks again to Gonzo Sandoval of Armored Saint, the drums of thunder. He is the coolest. There's so much music to check out from Armored Saint. Let's start with the most recent. Metal Blade has reissued the first 3 Armored Saint LPs for vinyl and digipack CD. So that's March of the Saint, Delirious Nomad, and Raising Fear. Symbol of Salvation Live was released in 2021, and Punching the Sky was released in 2020. You cannot go wrong with any of these albums. These are my lifeblood. Visit metalblade.com and armoredsaint.com for more information. And Armored Saint will be on tour again in fall 2022, starting October 28th at the House of Blues, Las Vegas in Nevada, in support of WASP and to celebrate their 40th anniversary. There's nothing like a live Armored Saint show. Absolutely nothing like it. This was my first video interview for Jace, and I am so honored that it was with Gonzo. I hope you all liked it. Check out my audio interviews on the Jace Media Audio Interviews page. You'll find more with Udo Dirkschneider, Jeff Scott Soto, David Reese, and Michael Stutzer of Artillery, and lots more. Remember to visit Jace Media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I am Justin Smolison, Jace contributor from across the pond. Thank you to all of my Jace colleagues, and thank you especially to the worldwide Jace Media audience for your continued support.